Burn them bow down, Michael Dillon heat drum, but the bow wow. Oh, are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Oh man, guys, welcome back to Mike and Dylan Hate Drama, the only place where you can get the real advice for the real world if the world you live in is fueled by complete paranoia and anxiety.
I just realized that I left my weapon of choice from our little YouTube video back there on the ground. So when I was sawing at your head,
the steel chair.
My wife was like, "No, actually, yeah, the steel chair too, but the drywall knife that you can cut into drywall, keyhole saw maybe, I don't know." But yeah, when I showed my wife the video, she's like, "Aren't you guys afraid that that's going to get taken down?" I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Because you were beating him over the head with a hammer and then like trying to cut his head off and then..."
Listen, as long as it's not a beer or a pack of cigarettes, they don't care. Bro, as soon as you like have a beer on, it's like, no, we cannot monetize this video. Only professionals can. It's like this video is done by professionals. Some dumb shit, some dumb disclaimer. So this is a very special episode of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama because it's right after the special of Mike and Dylan Hate Drama. And I understand that we heard Mike in a different light and we hear all these things. But once again, I am the type of person you are absolutely able to whine about problems as long as you're doing something about it. Michael is in the next step of doing something about it because I have quit smoking.
Yep, we're at right at an hour now.
Yep. So next episode's definitely going to be fun because then I'm like, well, I don't give a fuck about your problems, okay? I don't know. I understand when people like quit smoking, they'll be like, oh, you're real irritable. I don't get irritable. I'm the same level of angry that I always am.
I think I'm a little edgy, like, because I also, so 2 days ago, I decided I was not going to do my little nicotine packets. And so I was walking, I was going to go for a walk, and then Mike's like, "Do you mind if I smoke?" And then he's like, "Well, you know what? Fuck it. I'll do it too."
Well, I got someone going through it with me. Like, that's a beautiful fucking thing. And look, if
he took a full pack of cigarettes, like literally, I think he might have smoked like 3 or 4 of them out of there, and he cracked them in half and threw them in the
because
thing.
I felt like I was waiting for a moment, and then I was like, oh, my friend's going through it. I have someone to like talk to directly about quitting. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, fuck, I want to quit smoking, bro, quit smoking, get in the fucking subreddit. We'll talk about it. I'll do daily updates on just quitting smoking and
so
like what I'm going through.
Instead of smoking today.
Right. Yeah. I've replaced the cigarettes with dicks. Now my family is calling me gay. And my wife says she would just prefer if I was smoking and not bringing random black men over to the house to just partake in bukakis.
There was something talking about fags, and I thought they were talking about gay guys, but actually they were talking about cigarettes. Like, I don't know.
And now we're just in this gay world. Okay, I'm a male gigolo, and I have 4 STDs. But nicotine free. Nicotine free. That's
making a lot of money.
Yeah, making a good amount of money. Like, you would listen. Like I said, there's a fetish out there for everybody, which is when someone's just like, I'm a creative OnlyFans. I'm just like, I don't even doubt you because there's somebody out there that likes however you look. Whatever you want to do, you could be like, listen, I'm just going to get on OnlyFans and I am going to show my belly button.
I'm going to pick my nose a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to pick my nose. Hunt, like, oh God, pick that booger.
Dig deeper.
Wipe it on me. Like,
can you do the fake one where you stick your finger up there, make it look like you stuck your whole finger up there?
Right, yeah, just like go deep. And like someone's like, oh God, I could just imagine that person sticking their finger. People are fucking weird,
I had a friend's cousin that I think he was like missing his finger from like that knuckle on, and he'd just like jam it up there like that, like so hard that you thought that he actually stuck his finger up his nose, and you're like, holy crap, that is wild.
All right, so we have a plethora of submissions.
2 episodes worth over there.
Jesus, we do have a lot. Yeah, we're going to get to as much as we can get to. So also, guys, now I know that we listen to the podcast on
all kinds of platforms.
Yeah, there's listeners on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you're listening on. I respect you, okay, and I respect the platform. But over on the YouTube, we are starting to do the like the Am I the Asshole YouTube type videos because it is really good for us to put on, like, for short form. It's really good for us.
Growth.
Yeah, it helps us actually make money while we're doing the podcast because, we do have to make some money. We do have to support our family. So we are doing those. So if you like that more performative type of YouTube video, absolutely go over there and check it out. If you don't want to, look, no skin off of our backs.
And they're going to be shorter. They're going to be like 10 minutes, 10 minute like micro bites of like 1 to 3 stories, depending on how fast we can pump them in there. But it'll just be
just Mike reading a story, doing his little jokes, like being really just energetic and motivated, because you got to retain the YouTube attention, which is not like the TikTok attention.
But to retain their attention, let's just dive into
but to
this
retain
story.
y'all's attention. All right, so we got one that says, "Hey, Mike and Dylan, I think Mike should talk more about magic. I don't care, but it'll take time, which means the podcast, which means more podcasts. Love the shows. Also, mayonnaise deck." So, listen, I understand the people who enjoy Magic the Gathering. They would love to hear me talk about it, but I can guarantee you more people do. A, don't play it, or don't know what the fuck Magic the Gathering is. So, while it would be a good episode for you, it wouldn't be good for everybody else.
We just offer memberships just for the people that want you to just go ham on Magic the Gathering, and they pay $5 a month so that they get to hear you just ramble on for 16 hours.
Because like I do want to get into the standard scene more. I might do something on Twitch where I start fucking just like live streaming some me like play testing and shit like that. And I have friends too who I play test with. I might get them on the fucking, and we might just goof off. You know, once everything starts making money and I got a little bit more time to do more goof offish shit, we can get into that. But that is something that I do want to do anyways. And if I am taking the time to go out there and play test, like I can 100% focus on play testing and getting good at a format, and also interacting with an audience. So live streaming is not my cup of tea, but I can still drink it. Dear Mike and Dylan, I listen to both of your podcasts when I drive a truck or in the tractor. Listening to you guys makes what I'm doing so much more enjoyable. I have been listening to them all day, every day for the last 2 weeks. Thank you guys. Look, sweet. Oh, I love you. If we could just leave this in the rate section.
Yeah, just put it with the stars next to it. With
right.
Like a 5.
Put it in the Reddits, guys. I respond to everything that goes into the subreddit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're there. All right. If these were like on people would see our podcast and then they would look at the what do you call it?
Reviews.
The reviews, and they'd be like, man, this is probably, but no, they just send it to us
directly to
which
our
is a
email.
beautiful thing. And I love you, person. I would kiss you on the mouth if you were in front of me.
He's 16. I took it out.
Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what? Pre-warn somebody. Never mind. Straight to jail. I'm in jail right now.
Yeah.
So, listen, I enjoy
I took it out because I was like, you don't have to tell us you're 16, because really this is kind of like an 18 plus show.
Right.
Like, we are kind of vulgar.
I enjoy the nice words. But let's put it in either the Reddit, so that's popping, or the reviews, because
the Reddit's pretty fun.
Yeah, the Reddit's hella fun. Now we have our first bit of advice. Am I the asshole if I divorce my husband? I feel like we get to ruin somebody's life right now,
or help them,
or in a weird world, help them out. Hey, Mike and Dylan. I am keeping this as anonymous as possible. So my husband and I have been together for almost 15 years, married about 5. We have a kiddo that is a preteen. I am just finding out about some things that have happened in our relationship, like another kid, bro, that is only a few months younger than our daughter, and a laundry list of other women and lying, but somehow it always comes back around to it being my fault. Listen, it doesn't matter how mean you are, how boring you are, how how much sex you don't have with your partner, whatever, what the fuck ever you do does not give someone that has signed on to a monogamous relationship, that has said that they are committed to you, that does not ever give them a right. Doesn't matter how quote unquote bad of a person you are. We can go to the extremes, abusive, whatever. It does not give the other person a right to cheat. I don't know about abuse because that's a weird fucking category.
No, either way, just fucking get out.
Right, get the fuck out. Like, if you are not committed to somebody, leave.
Yes.
Like, that is it. Leave. Don't string somebody along. So, to the person that, listen, nothing, I don't care what you say during this, nothing is your fault.
Well, and the crazy thing is that she said that there is a kid younger than their kid. So, like, a couple months younger. So that means, like, full on through pregnancy
Absolutely.
and shit, this guy was a piece of shit. So,
right. If I talk about how it makes me feel, it just spirals out of how I just dwell on the negative and expect the worst out of them. Yeah, well, you won't quit fucking people. So I do admit that I am dwelling on it. I will admit that I was not perfect. Doesn't matter. I was extremely insecure and immature when we were younger. I have since been diagnosed as autistic. which he likes to tell me is fake despite being diagnosed by a therapist. And I go to therapy multiple times a week, both individual and group. Would I be the asshole if I divorced him and moved on with my life? It always seemed like a tougher choice when kids are involved. For context, I also did not have a good upbringing at all and have no examples to go off of as far as that goes. Listen, I honestly think for your mental health, it'll be good.
Well, and for the examples you said you didn't have them, be that for your kid. Like, you don't have to put up with dog shit in order to like protect your kid. No, this is a bad scenario. Get yourself out of the bad scenario. It might not be sunshine and rainbows. Once you get out of it, there's going to be work and there's going to be a lot of like pain and stuff that goes with it. But you're showing that you can leave a bad situation and make it better. So that's like beneficial.
Listen, and I'm trying not to chew where people can hear. I have gum in my mouth. But even if you're just in a relationship where you guys just don't get along and like the love's not there, like you are just not compatible, you've tried everything, and you're like, well, maybe we should just wait until our kid is an adult to divorce. That's also a bad example, man. Show your child that, hey, like sometimes two people are not compatible and it is okay. Like, yes, we have a kid together. We had a kid when we were probably not as responsible. We thought, everything was going to work out. And sometimes it doesn't. And it's always good to, instead of just deal with it and be unhappy, to maybe try to find your happiness. Like if both of you are ready to just stop and move on and you tried to work through it and it's not working, it's a good example to show your kid. Now, with the cheating and shit like that, I think the kid's a preteen?
Teenager.
Yeah, teenager. They probably understand dad's a douchebag. They probably understand dad's a dickhead. So I don't think you're going to be looked down at all. And I do think it's going to be good for your mental health. Once again, if you talk about the cheating and how obviously it made you feel bad, because that's what cheating does. No one ever is like, she cheated on me and I feel great. I mean, unless like you're a cuckold, then I guess it's like, well, she cheated on me and it was awesome. Best experience of my life. I don't know how they think, but I assume that would be a good thing for him. Obviously, you're not that. So, divorce is fucking ass. Like, just, I don't know. Tell him to go take care of the other kid he has too.
What if she like unknowingly cheated with like your future self and he left like the lotto numbers so that you could then win? Like, I mean, that might not be such a bad scenario.
Right, yeah.
Oh, wait, but that's gambling and you're not down with gambling. So you wouldn't have bought the ticket.
No,
so
it's not gambling if you have the winning lottery numbers.
That's not gambling. That's guaranteed.
That is knowledge that we are, that is a great financial choice to buy that lottery. Like if someone was like, yes, these are the winning lottery tickets. And you're like, all right, I am going to go buy a lottery ticket. It is not then gambling. It is... Michael's going to step away for a minute and like, I'm going to blow my nose. I got something going on right here. I don't know if it's like a hair tickling it.
So you gave up nicotine, but decided to pick up booger sugar.
It feels like a little booger, man. I don't know. It's bothering the shit out of me.
But yeah, I think with this relationship, it's just one of those scenarios that I don't know when all this came to light and like how that works out for you, like whether you've known about some of these insecurity or indiscretions like over time, but with somebody who has proven again and again and again that they can't be faithful in this relationship, you owe nobody anything. Like even your child will be better off by you stepping away, getting things figured out for yourself, and then moving on with your life, whether that's, celibate as, by yourself, or whether you look for another partner in the future. All that stuff is okay, because right now you're in a relationship that does not respect you, does not treat you with like the kind of love and care that you deserve. So let that go, move on, and, start anew.
I think I'm at the point where I also want to cut my mustache and beard. Yeah. But I think I look more friendly and approachable.
You just need to like just trim. Like I
don't know how to trim it without looking like I drive a lifted truck though. Like I drive one of the ones that's like tilted.
Squatted.
Yeah, squatted truck. That's why I look like a douchebag.
Yeah.
And I just want to look as friendly as possible. Now when I cut it all off, then I got the little gullet.
Yeah.
But with the quitting smoking, walking more, working out more, I'm drinking water. Once I get down to once I get down to like 220, boy, my jawline really comes out, bro. I'm good. Listen, I'm telling you guys, look, two daddies judging baddies is really, really going to have two daddies on there, because me and Dylan's both work. I mean, pretty soon we're just going to be just like sitting there. It's going to happen. All right.
Tough.
We started the documentary too, Falling Up.
Day one
on it. Yep. So that's going to be a fun little process, and you kind of get the little like the behind. You guys will hear about like our progression through it as we go along and do it. So, am I the asshole for not seeing my son since he was born? I feel like they worded this in a way
To make them
right, yeah, to make them seem like they're the asshole, but then like something is going to happen and they're not going to be the asshole. Oh, you're good. So I, 27 male, have an almost 5-year-old son in Arkansas that I have never met. All right, so look, fuck how Arkansas is spelled, because why do we have Kansas and then you put AR in front of it and it turns into Casal? I just don't get that, man. At the time of his conception, I was living in Oklahoma, freshly out of rehab and working construction. I know I was a catch. Ain't got to tell me. I met the baby mama through Plenty of Fish, the dating app, classy, I know. Her being an ex-addict and me being a recovering addict, we obviously hit it off for no more reason than that. After a year of some stupid decisions, letting her move in, and even stupider decisions, trying to start a family with a hoe, she ended up relapsing and doing hard drugs while pregnant with my kiddo. I was furious and took her to live with her parents in Arkansas while saying it was for the benefit to stay away from the drugs. Meanwhile, I was just mad at myself for putting up with it. We talked for a while afterwards. She then told me she had miscarried my child, obviously drug related, I thought. And so I drank myself into a stupor and relapsed hard on drugs myself. Never said I was smart. As I'm checking myself back into rehab months later, I get a message from the baby mama saying congratulations and sends me a picture of my kid. As you can expect, I'm stunned and all kinds of surprise. She probably forgot her lie.
I think it was from his baby mama's mama, right?
Wait.
That's what I read.
Oh yeah, no. It's where your brain blocks out when they repeat a word. But yeah, baby mama's mama saying congratulations. Damn.
So the mom, she ratted her daughter out basically.
I texted the baby mama questioning her, and she says I need to get my life together, or if I ever want to see him. Well, I do just that, and years later, I have an old lady who's amazing, kids who are amazing, a pretty good life, and a well-paying job. I've had my old lady talk to her and try and set up a time for my son to come up here. I do this because the baby mama has multiple times tried to talk me into working things out with her, and I don't want the drama that comes with talking with her. Plus, I like how my old lady handles her. But I haven't got to see him. Before you ask, no, I'm not on the birth certificate, and yes, I'm certain he's mine. Everyone talks about how we look so much alike, and my family lineage has a distinct butt chin. It's very dominant. Also, I could take a DNA test and get rights, but I have a lot of legal issues in Oklahoma that are barring me from being there. So, am I the asshole? Sorry if this isn't written correctly. I am blue collar, and they don't do writing tests before you start. Love y'all. Don't hold back on me now. So, here's the only thing. Courts are, bro, they are really, really just, they love a good comeback story. Like you looking at a judge, you're talking about you have stuff you got to settle in Oklahoma. If that shit's 3-4 years ago, a judge is not going to give a fuck. Like it could be some crazy shit. If you haven't done anything since then, like all you are is a good comeback story. So they love that. You definitely want to find out to see what the baby mama is doing. If she's fucking up, if she's still doing drugs, like getting into trouble and shit like that, you have a really good chance of getting custody of your son. Now, if you know, baby mama is doing well with the kid and is being a good mom and doing her things, you have no right to then, like, you know, take him away from her. This is a tough situation because you're in 2 different states. I know they're right next to each other, but it is a tougher situation. What I would say is if you really want, you know, your child to be, you know, a part of your life, if you want to make sure, I would do some more investigating to see how things are going down on her end. If she is fucking up, by all means, like that baby has no reason to have to go through that shit. If you are doing what you need to do, if you're holding it down, if you're, you know, you was in a place obviously where you were drinking and doing all this stuff and you didn't even know that you thought he was miscarried. So yeah, just figure out what's going on. And once again, if you've not been in trouble, bro, no court is going to hold that against you. If she's out there fucking up and a judge looks down and is like, wow, he did all this shit, but hasn't been in trouble in, you know, 3-4 years, bro, this brings a tear to my eye. They love a goddamn comeback story. Let me tell you that. Like when I went to go get so I had a failure to comply. So a failure to comply means that you have already gotten in trouble and you did not do like your community service, you didn't pay your fines and stuff like that. Not only did I have a failure to comply, but it was a double failure to comply because I had already not complied one time and not complied again. It was a bunch of shit. I lost my license. It was a hit and run. I was fucked up. Me and Amy had gotten into an argument back when, you know, we were first together. I'm talking about there was like 19 things that was stopping me from like getting my license and shit like that. So I was working too. So doing the community service was really fucking hard. And this was right when my daughter was born. I forget. I was working like listen, I was no means like turned around, but I was working 2 jobs, which were 2 like fast food jobs. And when I go to court, I explained this to them why for the second time in a row I've not complied, because I thought I was going to go do, I think it was like 180 days in jail that I was looking at. But I was, I had 2 pairs of socks on, 2 pairs of fucking underwear, 2 white shirts on underneath. I was 100% sure I was going to jail. But I told him that, and the judge was just like, well, I really feel like you're trying to turn your life around, son. And I'm just like, nah, but
yeah,
just how it looks like. And he was like speaking to me like it was like a very emotional moment. And he was like, you know what, I'm going to extend this, and then I'm going to cut down on some of the hours. And I was like, oh, fuck, like, this is the greatest thing ever, just because, I had the job and everything like that. Conversely, my brother, he was never in trouble in his whole life. He dealt with one thing where he was defending himself in a situation and the cops didn't know about it, but that got dropped. Literally, the first thing he did where it was like criminal was a felony breaking and entering robbery type situation where he was hanging out with some people he shouldn't have been hanging out with, doing shit he shouldn't have been doing. And it's kind of led him down a bad road. But when he got arrested for it, all the guys there were like, they had super big bonds and stuff like that. And I literally went and talked to the judge on, because he had a bail hearing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, look, you just say he just got a job. Like I had, my wife, he was working at the Hardee's where my wife was general manager at, because I couldn't work there anymore. So I go up there and I explain to him, I'm like, hey, he's trying to turn his life around, not hang out with these people. He's obviously hanging out with the wrong crowd, never been in trouble. And the judge is like, yeah, well, it seems like you got good people around you. Don't make this dumb decision again, and let him go. Like from a bond, we would not have had the prayer to fuck a bag.
Yeah.
He actually ended up doing a lot of time on that, though, because he couldn't. I was like, bro, if you hold down a fucking job and you like, I made a mistake, could not do it. I was like, if you just do that, he's never been able to hold down a job. But I was like, if you can do that, man, if you can give the judge, I'm like, everybody that you're with, you are all going to prison. You are going to prison. You're not going to jail. If you are holding down a job, and you're showing you got to do what you can do, that's when they're like, okay, we'll do community service, whatever. But you got to have a way to spend this. Could not do it. Ended up doing like 8 months in prison. So
that's crazy.
But if you can just show the judge like you are turning around your life, bro, that shit's in the past. Especially how old? 5 years?
I don't know how old the kid is. I was gonna ask that.
I think it's at 5, right?
I was thinking like 7, but it's kind of towards
almost 5-year-old son in Arkansas.
Okay,
so. Yeah. I assume maybe you didn't stop immediately doing the dumb shit, but it seems like since you've been with your old lady. So I'm going to say 3 years, bro. 3 years in a criminal world is a lifetime. That is somebody who has turned around. Like if a judge looks at that and is like, he hasn't done shit in 3 years, that's a fucking lifetime to them. Like that is a person who is like trying to get their shit together, bro. So don't ever just think that, yes, you're going to have a bad judge. Yes, you're going to have, somebody you talk to who looks down on you, but you're going to have, eventually a judge that looks at this and is like, oh, I see a guy who's trying to turn his fucking life around and be a good dad. Once again, if she's doing a good job too, people can change. Look, someone can do fucking hard drugs, 24 years, have a kid, and that be the fucking push that they need to become a good person. And if she's doing good, you're doing good, then y'all just work it out. Obviously, you ain't got to get back together, and y'all are terrible together, and you have what sounds like a good old lady with you. I don't want this to be another Crystal story. I'm so wary on this, calling somebody a significant other good, because I don't know y'all's relationship, but it seems like you got everything good right now. So just once again, talk back and forth, make sure you set boundaries with your wife so she don't have to feel uncomfortable, and just try to figure out a way to maybe at first start a visitation thing. So, maybe you can have them during summertime, or just work out something where you can be a father, even though you are a state away.
See, I think ultimately you haven't seen him, and I don't know what your phone conversations are or anything like this, but you're not a dad, bro. Right now, you're not.
You're nothing. So, he doesn't know who you are.
So even visitation, bringing him, that's kind of a fucked up thing. Just oh, you're coming 3 states over, or a state away, or whatever, to just come spend time for the summer. That's kind of fucked. You need to spend the time of go down there. I get it that the baby mama wants to get back with you and all this other stuff. You got to figure that shit out. But the kid didn't do anything. The kid's just there. So he needs his dad. Whether you let some other guy be fucking stepdad and pull actual dad duty, whatever, but right now, homie doesn't have a dad. are you going to step up? Like, that's the real moment, is like, you've had 5 years to get your fucking shit together. Like, she told you that she was having a miscarriage. You went down your path. I get it. Y'all fall down. But like, that's been 5 years. Like, you got to take accountability for yourself and you got to step up. So like, I get that you've got your new old lady and all that stuff. That's great. But like, that kid is without a dad right now. Like, and like I said, I don't know the backstory. Like, are you FaceTiming? Are you talking on the phone? Does he know that you exist? Like, is that part, like, are you part of his life even though you're a couple states away? But like, as I see it right now, you have to build the baby steps of like him looking at you and saying, that's my dad. Like, right now, if you've never seen him in person, like met him in real life, like, you're nobody to him. Like, you got to show up, and whether it's a fucking long weekend or whatever,
Right,
you
do
need
some
to start,
vacation time down there
Yes.
so he can like meet you. Because that is, going to somebody's house where it's just like, this is your dad. You're going up there and and it's like a fucking whirlwind. Yeah. Once again, this is one of those also, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yes.
Like, I hear a lot of people come up, and that's one excuse that the guy who signed my birth certificate will give. He'll be like, well, their bitch mother wouldn't let me see him.
No.
Bro, she was a drug addict who slept all the time. She did not care. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But that just shows me that that's just an excuse a guy will say. And bro, what if you tried to take my fucking hell or high water? The thought of death is not going to keep me away from my kids. Like, if they said like to see your kids, we're going to have a fucking line of gunmen, trained military fucking Navy SEALs. Guess what? In my brain, I could take down 10 Navy SEALs when it comes to my goddamn kids. Nothing is going to stop me from seeing my children. Nothing. Like, not a fucking, if there's a court order, like, I'm getting the best. I don't know what I have to do. If I got to sell my goddamn body to fucking afford a goddamn lawyer that can go up against those motherfucking lawyers, I'm going to do what I have to fucking do. There is, if a man wants to see his kids, there is nothing that anybody, like, as long as you are fucking willing and you do not take, as long as you're doing everything right. Like, I don't want to, like, influence some crazy people where it's like, I got like schizophrenia that I don't take medicine for, and I do all these drugs, and I want to see my kids. So yeah, what you're saying is I should shoot up I should shoot up all the people that are telling me no.
Well, and it's just, you have to make that decision. And right now you've let 5 years slide by. You have to make that decision. Are you going to man up? Like, and if it's not worth it to you, fucking let the kid move on.
Then don't fuck the kid up, because that's one thing. I had a guy who, and I'm gonna tell you what, if it was the original guy who I never knew, I never had a relationship with, that's more accepting than hearing about a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That you sometimes calling me and shit like that. And because, he's going to know that you have other kids. Like, he's going to be like, fuck, man, he loves them kids more than he loves me. Like, I watched as a guy who said he was my father take my brothers to his house and hang out with them. And that will fuck you up more than somebody not being there. So if you are like, yes, I do want to have a relationship with them, have that relationship. If there's a part of you that's like, nah, well, maybe, then don't. Look.
Well, and it's even move baby mama closer. And like, I know that you don't want a relationship with her. You've got your own thing going on, but like, there's multiple ways to solve this problem. And like, but if you want to, you actually have to. Like, it's not just a like, well, I'll try to get custody. No, like, I mean, for one thing, right now you're probably a stranger to him. Fix that first. That's first. Like, otherwise he's just some kid and you're some guy, and you're not dad yet.
Yeah,
like,
baby mama's mama does sound rational too.
Yeah.
So that does sound like a person who, if you're like, hey, I want to have a relationship, a lot of times the parents of a drug addict will be like, yeah, my kid's a fuck up. Like, and they're raising their kids. They obviously thought they would be in a position where they weren't raising kids. So they're not like happy go lucky doing it, but they're doing it because they love their grandchild. So once, she hears that, dad, obviously she's not, she's grandma. She don't want you to take the kid away. No. Obviously things want to be worked out. But if you are that, like, sure, you want to have a relationship with your kid, once again, it is from Arkansas to Oklahoma. They're right next to each other. Baby mama is going to be, she's going to have her feelings about it. But at the end of the day, if you want to have a relationship with your kid, that is your kid. In my household, children they are put up on a higher pedestal than spouses is. In my way of thinking, that's how it should be.
When they're grown, when you've completed your task and it's never complete, you're always going to have kids and you're always going to worry about them. But like, once they are like able to be somewhat responsible for themselves, then the spouse comes back in,
once
and it becomes a very like, hey, we did it.
Because right now,
them,
you know, the responsibility of a parent is to guide someone who did not ask to be here, who is only here through your actions. It is now your responsibility to guide them through life, you know, show them what love is, make them a respectable human being that can be proud of themselves. And that is the number one responsibility. That's why I say, you know, we put, you know, kids above spouse. Dylan's correct, you know, once they're out of the fucking house.
Yeah.
The job should be done. Your job is never done. You're always going to be there for guidance, and they're going through this, you know, completely unique world.
Well, I think people get it jaded. Like, they think that it's either like all kids or all spouse, and it's really like the balance. But when you have the kids and you're married, like, the kids take over, because like that's your ultimate goal together as a couple, is to make sure these kids are fucking good people and move on.
Right.
But like the people that are like, you know, kiss their kids' ass even after they're moved up and grown out, and they still like baby them and coddle them, they're fucking up. And then the people that are like, if we're not happy spouses, then we can't be happy for our kids. Like, no, you can. Like, you got to fucking figure out that balance. But ultimately, you brought this kid in, you got to send them through the training program and then have them fly away. That's the thing. And like, I'm not saying that anybody's wrong for having any other opinions, but like, I feel like the people that are on like both sides, like kids always, and then spouse always, they're fucking nuts, because like ultimately you're in it together.
Right. That's your partner.
To make the
that's
kids,
who's helping you do it.
yes,
Yeah.
it's team effort. We're trying to win this game. Oh, we did a pretty good job.
I don't know. I'm just glad I've never been put in a position where I like
you had to choose.
Yeah, like the value of somebody had to come and
No.
I don't know. I think you're just in a wacky place once that shit starts happening.
Pick me over the kids.
Right.
Well,
oh God.
fuck you.
Yeah. If someone's saying pick you over their children, obviously that's a situation where you need to take the kids and run, because that's crazy. All right. So the title says Tradesman and Trade School. Message says, hey, what's going on? I came across y'all's podcast and have been enjoying it so far. You guys made a comment about a young kid who wanted to go to trade school after high school, and I wanted to put in my personal experience. Awesome.
Yes.
We have not been through trade school.
This is great.
So it's nice to hear someone's personal experience about trade school. I was an iron worker out of local 482 for few years and became a certified AWS welder through them. I was certified in SMAL, stick, 1-inch unlimited, and FCAW 232 1-inch unlimited.
Oh yeah, I know what that is. Yeah,
got it.
The 1-inch. Okay,
I understood
the
all that. That was I definitely got that. All in the great state of Texas. Any guys who came through wanting to be a structural welder with trade school, college, or any else other than field experience started as a first-year apprentice. This process is meant to be kind of a bitch. For the first year, if you're a good apprentice, you won't have a name, and any name you give won't be the name you get back. A few common ones are green, pumpkin, hand, and then of course the usuals like dumbass. Anytime you try to give your opinion or idea, you'll get a good apprentice is seen but not heard, or we are paying for your shoulders down, so keep them thoughts in your head. We're paying for your shoulders to be down, so keep them thoughts in your head. Sounds shitty, but most apprentices drop before the first year is up. It's our way of weeding them out faster. Second and third year, you'll start knowing names and getting familiar with people you work with, so treatment usually gets better. You're always expected to be there early. If you ain't 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. An old thing that's not so common anymore, but just depends on the job site and who you're working with, was apprentices not being allowed on the buck hoist, job site elevator. 3 years of stairs and ladders at 17, which I believe is how the old kid is how I believe is how old the which I believe is how old the kid who wrote in was.
Yeah, 17.
This profession looks cool, and as your brothers and sisters in apprenticeship with you start falling out, it solidifies the idea of ironworking is only for bad motherfuckers. You'll make a decent living, but if it were me, I'd say go to school. Welding is going to be around forever, and welding in 115-degree weather in leathers that are soaked through with sweat is a little less fun than it seems in the beginning. Good luck, kid, and keep in mind your folks just want your life to be easier than theirs. Now, that had nothing to do with trade school. All right. And that's what I'm saying. Trade school, they can show you how to do everything.
He mentioned it in the beginning about like where you end up as whether you come in as a trade.
Yeah.
Trade school
it doesn't matter. You
school.
end up as an apprentice. Yeah. Because that's just what you have to do. You have to have that like on-field experience. But also too, so you go to trade school and you spend.
Well, he's saying that you can't even get to be an apprentice without
trade school.
Like if you don't know how to weld, coming onto the job site, you don't get on the job site.
So that's so different in North Carolina, because if you want to be an electrician, whatever, you have to be an apprentice. Like you have to go into apprenticeship. There's no schooling you take.
There's
like
schooling that you can take too.
you can take it. Like I did like a little electrical course in the first day there through college. And they was like, this counts nothing towards being an electrician. Every bit of electrician, like everything that's counted towards you becoming an electrician is through an apprenticeship. And I was like, oh, how do you do that? It was like, you just go apply to be an, electrician's apprentice at a company or something. I was
but
like,
if you know your shit sooner, then you're going to be able to pass those tests and be able to get like on there.
well,
like,
it's all time requirements in North Carolina. Other states might be different.
Well, that's dumb then.
Yeah, every single thing is a time. It's not like like jujitsu or something. You take a test to see what you've learned. It's all time required.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So also, like trade school, they're going to show you how to do it. They're not going to show you how to do it for 12 hours a fucking day, sweaty, taking 10-minute breaks.
Well, yeah, and that's where like the apprenticeship, like I mean, every decent job you end up apprenticing, and then you work under like.
Well,
I mean,
you're training. So listen, I understand what you're thinking. There's training people when they get a new job. Apprenticeship is by law. You have to do this. This is by law. You have to spend X amount of hours, whether it's welding, electrician, HVAC, all of this stuff. You have to spend the amount of hours apprenticing, and anything that you've done outside of the field besides working with someone who is, you're
working under as an
certified
apprentice.
to do that, it does not count towards your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
yeah.
But what I'm saying though is like having that knowledge and then being valuable on the job site is going to be substantially better. Like I'm not saying you have to go to trade school, but like going in with some knowledge rather than being the jackass that knows fuck all about anything. Like it is beneficial to come in and at least know, what wires mean what and why you use this gauge for this and why you do this thing this way. And then like they can then tweak and mold, but like knowing at least the basics, you're not worthless when you show up on day one. And it's not like, go get that bucket, carry it over there. Like you're still going to do that work. But like if you not pretend to be a know-it-all, but like at least have a basic understanding, you are going to show up with a better like
I do want to
reception.
view how much trade school is though.
Well, and it depends. Like, because one of the things, and I think he mentioned it in there, was like community college. Like community college has all those things available, so it's very, 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 very reasonably priced. Like
it is not that no college course.
Community college is very, very reasonably. Like being an in-state tuition, like I think it's like less than $1,200 for a year.
Right. Okay, but it says trade school tuition generally ranges from $5,000 to $15,000. I assume that's per semester, per year. So yeah, per year. $5,000 to $15,000.
Yeah, that's not a community college.
The way that I hear, but that's around the price. I went to community college.
Yeah, I did too.
So that's around the price I was paying per semester for.
That's
just an associate's
exorbitant
degree.
Amount because like
I think it was like $3,200. I had the whatever grant, Pell Grant, whatever that helped out with it. So
and so how much did you actually pay out of pocket?
No, I got money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you didn't pay anything.
Right, yeah,
like you didn't pay anything.
But say someone goes to trade school. They make too much to get the grants and everything like that. They don't want to have debt or whatever. Parents pay for it. Essentially what you're doing is you're creating a middleman to say, because, trades is usually like viewed as like a communal thing or a family thing. Like you learned this you started working with your dad and that's how you got into plumbing and shit like that. I feel like trade school is the way that the government's like, well, they're going to go into these, let's just like, oh, well, you can learn stuff here. It doesn't count towards shit, but you can kind of learn it here. Maybe there are trades that does like require shit like that, but 99.9% of them require like an apprenticeship. I'm not shitting on.
I think we don't have the full requirements, and it probably does vary across states. But like, I think we're talking on something that we don't really have all the data to have this discussion because
I mean, I went to go through it because I wanted to be an electrician. So once I went, because that's what I did. I went through like the community college things because they had like courses on it and shit, which was weird because we just got like an HVAC guy talking to us in a Goodwill donation place. Like that's where our classes were. And I was like, I forgot however much the class was, but it was like $750. So I paid $750. The first day I sat in there, he's like, this counts nothing towards being an electrician. You have to apprentice for however many hours, like 8,000 or some shit. I forgot how much it is.
8,000.
It's like 5 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is like, I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
the
Like, we
same
don't
with-
have.
When I was doing architecture, technically, if I would have gotten my classes did not count at all towards architecture. I would have had to go to the only 2 accredited schools in North Carolina, which is like NC State and UNC Charlotte. Those are the only 2 places you could actually get.
Yeah,
an architectural
8,000
program.
hours of work-based learning. So apprentices are required to complete a minimum of 900 curricular hours now, I guess. What?
Yeah, so they have
That's
to
crazy.
do school.
Well, that's Raleigh, Durham, JATC. I don't know what the fuck that is.
But like with mine, I then would have had to. It's the same thing with doctors or anything like that. You then have to go and work on the job as an apprentice.
I guess they changed it because now you do have to go to kind of school for, or you do have to go to school for the fucking electrical shit, where you used to be able to just work under somebody like as soon as you got out of high school.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's what they, but you know, now there's trades and shit where you don't have to fucking go to college to get that. And then the government's like, well, you know, got to make money off of it. So,
well, but on top of that, though, like, I mean, you are talking about like safety and code, and the code changes. And so if you've got this old school guy that's like, well, fuck it, we've been doing this since 1973, like, okay, things have changed. And like, so you do have to get like the new knowledge out there and like the new equipment and new safety procedures and stuff like that. So it does make sense to like have people at least go back for some sort of education at all.
All right, so this next one, we'll get off the things we don't know because I was learning stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you have,
We'll do a full special on
any knowledge of it, give your side of what it was like going to trade school. But this one says, need advice / am I the asshole for blocking my best friend on Instagram, which led to the disbanding of our friend group. Damn. Y'all was really the backbone of y'all's friend group, right? For message, it says message right here and then for context. For context, bear with me, it's long-winded. It's a friend group of the 4 of us, Andy, Murr, Ben, and myself. Fake names, of course. Andy and Murr.
They were about to, because like Murr, the
like
only thing.
Impractical Jokers.
That was
That's the first thing my brain shot to.
I was like, oh, it's Impractical Jokers.
Yep. Andy and Murr work together and have their own special bond outside of the group. Gay.
Special.
They're fucking. They're fucking. They're friends, but after they get done friending, they fuck a little bit. Ben tries to stay out of the drama, but is usually Andy and Murr versus me in any spat. To say we are friends would be an understatement. We considered one another brothers, and our bond was probably the strongest friendship we have ever felt as humans. So it's obviously hazing and giving one another shit is a very common occurrence. We have a term for it. It's called blood in the water. Hopefully this illustrates how vicious it can be, but meant with good intentions. We were in a barrack type setting for 8+ months, spending every day together, and we meet up once a month religiously because it's that important to us. Our jobs have caused us quite a bit of stress, and we all feel it one way or another and have always been there for one another. I was recently diagnosed with a serious health condition that, while not life-threatening, extreme amounts of stress could complicate it into something way worse than it needs to be. The diagnosis has been very stressful for me amongst a laundry list of things, and I've expressed this to them. We've had spats in the past, and our most recent one, I had to explain to them that the added stress has made me rather sensitive to hazing, but I'll do my best to shut things down before I get too upset or take drastic measures because I really cannot take any unnecessary stress. All right. Now for the situation. I'm currently working full-time in a barber school because a career change to minimize my stress was needed for my physical and mental health. This has not been easy. Barber school only gives me about 1 haircut a day, and it's been difficult to learn this with the pace, and the cuts we do get are generally old men who just want it off the ears. Not nearly enough to get the experience I need to succeed, and I take this very serious and it's important to me. I'm the sole provider for my fiance, and I have to be good at this, making a living to provide for us. I have been very active on social media, which I hate, putting myself out there and being very vulnerable to myself. I cannot stress how much I hate, but I have to do what I have to do. I recently made a poster and posted it to every platform I had possible to try and bring in more clients in. I've put a lot of heart into it and absolutely hate begging for help from the people I love. I am also aware of how everyone feels seeing this post like this in their feeds and how cringe it is. Andy and Murr's response to this was to copy and paste the poster's paragraph, and both of them spam texted to my Instagram, Facebook, text message group chat no less than 100 times over and over again. This really just irritated me, and I'll admit my pride would not allow me to admit to them, as I knew they'd just use this later when they wanted to get a reaction out of me. My response to this was to basically say that since they were making fun of my livelihood, that I expected their support in both getting a haircut from me and being in any video I might need for promotion. They responded by continuing to spam it and make fun of the poster. I finally just snapped and blocked them from my barbershop page, but not my personal accounts. It did ruin my day. When they found out I had done this, Murr asked if I was actually mad. After some time, I responded not to worry about it and that I wasn't mad at them, but I was going to just let it go and set a boundary. I also said that I'm not mad at them. You did twice. I don't want either of their support whatsoever in my profession and wouldn't be unblocking them. The group chat has been dead since that day. Ben would post memes and I would respond, and I would send memes as well, and they would not respond. They have done some other passive aggressive actions in this time, like specifically playing group games without me, but inviting Ben, removing location sharing, which they've done for the entirety of our friendship, removing their nicknames from the group chat, removing the chat name, and deleting pinned posts. Ben is pretty upset that the group is dead, but I told them I'm not going to make them choose sides, and I'm always his friend. I also don't think I should have to apologize for anything. I felt I could have handled it better, but I felt I was fair considering I was still very upset by it. So, Mike and Dylan and listeners, am I the asshole? Too long didn't read. Friends made fun of my livelihood that I'm struggling with and blocked them from my business page for the sake of my mental health. Here's the thing. I am going to, like, if I found out my friend's trying to be a barber, I'm going to say I'm like, all right, Edward Scissorhands, like, make a couple jokes. That's as far as it goes with it. Once my friend is like trying to promote their business and shit like that, I'm completely on board. I'm not going to be making them feel bad about posts, because that does go into, obviously he wants to do like a entrepreneurial thing. He's going to have to work at some kind of place where he does it for a while. But bro, just look at like black communities, man. They're not going to, back in the day, they weren't going to like schools and shit like that. They were learning from their peers. Well, now you have a place where you can learn from the best people on earth called YouTube. So the more shit you learn there while you're doing the schooling, and once again, that's the thing about having a business, is you do have to like try to sell and you got to get clientele in. So that's always going to be there. But, while you're doing the schooling and everything like that, just focus on YouTube and shit like that. That's for the business side, watch YouTube. Obviously get as much stuff as you can in. As for the friend thing though, it's just kind of shitty, man. Like, I'll crack my jokes. There's a difference between hazing and then like making fun of you in a kind of like a hateful way. Cutting people down. Yeah, like, cutting you down. That's a good one. Yeah, like I'm never going to cut my friends down. I'm going to talk shit. Like, I'm going to have my fun. We're going to pick and play. They could call me a fat ass and shit like that. But if I have a friend that is trying to lose weight, like, I'm not going to fucking go to their house with like a whole bunch of food and shit like that. That's just like,
hey, you can't eat.
Yeah, you can't fucking eat this shit. Or if I see someone who is like, trying to better themselves, starting their own business, they have a business page, and then to just like start spamming their posts and shit like that. Like, what a fucking dorky thing.
It's okay to like have those friendships. And like, I think that's the part that people lose is like, yes, smart asses like to fuck with each other. Yeah, that's fun. This part's serious. I'm trying to provide for my family. It's not a fucking joke. I'm trying to fucking provide for my family. Like, there's nothing. And like, if you want to crack a joke about me cutting hair, that's fine. But when it comes to like, hey, I need some more clients because I need to get more haircuts so that I get more experience, blah, blah, blah. Do you know anybody? You fucking feed that friend as many people. Like, hey, my buddy cuts hair. Does anybody need a free haircut? Does anybody need to like go do something? Like,
and you don't have to do it. But then also,
if they're your friend,
right? Like if my friend is like trying to better themselves, obviously I'm like, hey, my friend has this. I'm gonna like shout it out to my friends and the other people that I know. But to them, like, try to cut them down is just it's the shittiest thing that you can do as a friend. I'll give you an example. Like Dylan, when we would go, we have this, and then I had, in the beginning, I had the Felonious Falafel stuff, which Dylan wasn't a part of at that point. We had the stuff we were working on together, and Dylan had his business. So if I went somewhere with Dylan, because, it was kind of in between of the things that we were doing, Dylan would be like, hey, we are trying to look professional and shit like that. When Dylan's telling me that, I'm cracking joke. I'm like, oh, so you don't want to take me around your good friends? Yeah, I'm just something that you fuck and you don't want to take around your parents. Yeah. Like, make jokes. But then when we got in those situations, if I felt, 99% of the time I just wouldn't talk, or, I'd be very, cordial or speak on the matter. I wouldn't like try to overstep or anything like that, because that's my friend's fucking business and I want him to look good. Like, jokes aside, cracking with your friends aside, in a business setting, like when it comes to their livelihood, like you don't want to do anything to hurt that. And I feel like any friend that would want to try to hurt that or goes out of their way to just make you feel bad about doing it, I don't think that's a good friend.
Well, yeah, I think Ben in this situation is probably a good friend, and you could like still like keep some sort of friendship. But like honestly, the other two, Murr and fucking whatever homeboy, Andy,
that's who's fucking.
Like, I mean, they
have
just,
the special bond.
Yeah, they're just being like shits, and like, so I'm sorry, but like you're not in the in crowd with them, and so just fucking let them go.
One thing I give my wife's dad, so he had a really, really good friend, his best friend, you know, through childhood and shit like that. He passed away. So this is before I met him. But my wife loves bringing up his obituary because they talk about all the people that are related to him, and then they talk about his special friend, and then it's Amy's dad. And she was like, you know, people reading that 100% was like, oh, boyfriend.
They're gay.
Yeah, they're gay. So it is like looking at the obituary, it is worded exactly how you would word a family not wanting to say this was his boyfriend. And it is God, it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, man, get better friends. Ben sounds like an okay guy.
Well, and you got to get your shit together. So on the business front, like I didn't get to really talk on that. Like, I mean, you should look for, like you're saying that you only get to like cut like one head of hair a day. Like, so you need to find as
get into the homeless community, buddy.
Like, or like, is there volunteering at prisons? Is there like anywhere, like, could you go do it at, I mean, yeah, like I'm
start with juvie or something like that.
But then also like church groups and like homeless. But like, is there like underprivileged youth? Like, just find any access to people where you can just cut as many heads of hair as you can and get that experience, and then document that. Because like one of the best fucking haircut guys is a guy on YouTube who's just like walking down the street, sees a guy with some crazy hair, and he's like, hey, can I give you a cut? And then they talk about fucking life and being a dude and all this stuff. And he probably makes a shit ton more than any barber because he makes content around it. I'm not saying you have to do that, but even if you just use that content to market your business and get people and build a clientele, like, you can do it. So
exactly. This title just says advice on baby talk. Nice.
Is it in the bedroom? Like,
I don't know.
How's this happening?
Hi, Mike and Dylan. I, 30 male, recently got married to my wife, 27, and she wants to start trying for a baby. Okay. I thought this was something different.
She talk like a
do you want to suck on my nippy whippy? That's what I thought it was. You want to get a little milky? Baby want milky, please. Can I suck on mommy's milker so the baby can get the milky? Goo goo gaga. Oh, look. Somebody listening just got a rock hard, aren't just fucking busting through their jeans right now. I don't exactly want to have kids because we can barely get the housework done now. I farm, and in spring I farm, and in spring and fall, I can be working 80 hours a week. My wife works full time, and she claims she is always tired, but has energy to go out on the weekends. I've mentioned that we don't have time to keep up around the house now. How would we ever do that with a child? I would be way more involved with the child than she says I would need to be because I have to take care of her animals that she said she would take care of herself. That is a thing that happens in households. Another big thing is I have bipolar, and I saw what I was putting my parents through. I don't want to put myself through that same situation. My wife says I'm being selfish because I'm only looking out for me and not us. Any advice would help. I love the show. Sorry I couldn't make it for the meetup at Denny's. It is okay. I forgive you for that. But like, this is a conversation y'all should have had before y'all got married.
Well, and just to address your concerns, like, having a kid doesn't change how much you get done around the house. Like, it doesn't. Like, you still have the time. You don't have the time. It's never going to change. Like, if you're taking care of your house now, you'll probably be able to do it with a kid.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something, too.
You're not going to be able to do it with a kid.
I'm going to tell you something, too, man. While you're sitting there plowing a field with, like, a little kid fucking riding on your goddamn lap, it's listen, you with a child, man, you will be able to do things you never thought you could do. Like, you will be able to get through situations you never thought you would be able to get through.
If you don't,
I'm not telling you, I'm not saying, hey, you need to have a kid. It's going to be the best thing. That I'm not doing that. But what I am saying is
your excuses are lame, bro.
Yeah, they are lame excuses. Like, you're going to be perfectly okay. I understand. The fact that you can see the shit that's wrong too is like, it's the people who go in that's just like, oh, we're going to be perfect parents and everything's going to be perfect. That's the person I'm like, bro, you're going to get smacked in the fucking face. People who are like, I'm scared and I don't know what I'm going to do. Those are the people that fucking get through it the the easiest, man. Those are the people that just, they go with the flow. Everything just feels like, you know, it comes to them. It might not come natural. It might take a little bit of time, but it does come, man. And it's just, you could be like, oh, you know, I just get angry a lot, and I feel like I get mad at work, and you know, when I play video games, I get mad, bro. Kids, for like I was telling Dylan, like I used to be fucking just impatient as fuck, like so quick to anger, and now with kids, like you can't make me angry. If we're out on the streets and some guy's like jawing at me, bro, when I was young, and now I'm just like, you know, I'm just talking shit. I'm like, bro,
are you okay?
Inside? Yeah, are you okay?
Did
you go to therapy today, bud? Like, Jesus Christ. There's something with kids where you think like, because of this, I can't do this.
You almost get empathy. You can kind of put yourself in somebody else's scenario and be like, why the fuck are they doing this stupid thing that they shouldn't be doing? Like,
I can see why we drew on the walls. We had access to it. We get to draw on paper all the time.
It's a big canvas.
Yeah, like it's a big white sheet of paper. I see why we did it. And look, it looks all right when you draw it on paper, but now Daddy has to clean this off. So can we not do that again? Like, it's just the excuses you do bring up are just, man.
Well, and raising a farm kid, you got all the entertainment for that kid. Like, you got all kinds of shit that kid can do. Yeah.
In like 10 years, 10, 12 years, bro.
And like, I really wanted a son because I thought that like I was going to vibe with a son. Like, me and my dad have a really good relationship. I was like, I need to have a son. And like, my wife kind of lied to me and told me that she was going to have a son. And then when it finally came due, she's like, no, I knew the whole time it was going to be a girl. And so like, I was kind of let down. But then the second that like I finally came to terms with like, oh, I'm having a daughter, and then the absolute second I saw my daughter, I was like,
it's like
this
right
is
when they
awesome.
When they said,
thing.
That's every guy though. Every guy's just like, I want a boy, and then you hear you're having a girl, and you're like, oh, okay, like I can. And then listen, it's when they set that baby in your arms, you're like, I don't give a fuck what you are. Like this is just
you're 10 toes, and like not that matters.
And
either,
you're just,
but like,
you're just looking at her, and you're just like, this is the I don't know why, but this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And listen, it just,
well, and my point that I was getting to was like, homegirl helped me put together those shelves over there. She's interested in like, you know, working on things with tools and all that other stuff. Like, she's going to be like the girl that's handy and can like actually like fix things on her own and doesn't need a man to like do that.
Oh no, is she going to be like the girl in the movies though, where like the guys broke down and then she like rides up on her skateboard and she's like, phew. And they're like,
your alternator's bad.
Yeah, it's obviously your alternator. Listen how you start it. You hear that sound, and then she like pops up the hood and like sticks her fucking leg on the ass. Like, you got a wrench, and then the guy's like, oh, which one's the wrench? And she's like, oh, really, bro? Listen, me and my brothers, we run a garage down here. Yeah. Our dad died when we were, you know, you always die. Or? Yeah, you always die in those where the daughter knows how to take care of everything. So the dad's gone, he died, so she had to, you know, he showed her some stuff, so she really stepped up and she became the dad to her brothers. Yeah. If you have 2 more boys next, you know you're cooked, bro.
She's asked for some siblings, but we're not having any. I already got the snip.
Oh, I need to get the snip.
Get it.
Oh no. The title says Mike bullied a disabled veteran.
That's that one.
Is this
2 pages?
This one's 2 pages. I knew they would not just send a page.
No, they're a long-winded.
The message says, Mike, I know this isn't an advice submission, but you absolutely mopped the floor with me. I had to respond. Who took a shit on your Cheerios that day? You came out swinging like, goddamn, brother. I get where you're coming from about people on TikTok diagnosing themselves. That's not me, though. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 9 years old. I didn't diagnose jack shit. I went back to a doctor again, an adult, to get the diagnosis reaffirmed. Mandatory appointment with the doctor, though. So I have read this. They're talking about, you know, they're going through like the evaluation process. Once again, it is not like, oh, I have stuff going on, I just go to place, it's immediately solved. Like, it is a process. There is stuff that they're going through. On that day where we made the jokes, I do want you to know that I was joking through half of it, but then, so where Mike's brain goes is like, we're joking through half of it, but then I'll get really serious about a topic, and it'll sound like I'm being serious about like the thing we're talking about. I'm not doing that. I understand, like, you're the type of person who's working, you know, through the therapies and the psychologists and stuff like that. I'm not going to read all that. I love you, brother. All right. I love you, brother. And definitely do keep us updated, and get in that fucking Reddit so you can keep us updated. But when I'm joking around, it does sound like I'm serious. Am I going to apologize for that? Fuck no. I'm going to double down, bitch. But once again, it's a work in progress. Absolutely keep us updated. I do want you guys to know this is the How do we sum it up without the other stories?
He was basically talking about wanting to have kids. It was very similar to the last story I actually read, but like he's worried about his autism being a factor with the kid.
What's the insult? Because that's the greatest thing ever.
Smug ass tubby motherfucker.
Smug ass tubby motherfucker.
He laid down a gauntlet though for Mike that if he gets the actual diagnosis that he says he's supposed to that he thinks he has, then Mike has to get smug ass tubby motherfucker tattooed on him, and then I can't remember what he was going to get tattooed on him if he fails. I don't have a good spot to get that tattooed. And I already have a bunch of bad tattoos. My brother wanted to be a tattoo artist. Smug ass tubby motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
that's like a name tag.
Listen, it has been tough because, like I said, I have 5 tattoos. I've not got a tattoo since I was 17 years old. I have a neck tattoo. So to put into perspective what it was like in high school, I thought I was cool, and everybody else, it worked.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
They thought I was cool too. But then growing up and sitting with people, and you got all these prison tats, not spend a day in prison. I'm just like over the whole bad tattoo things. How about this? How about when you get the diagnosis that you think you're going to get? How about we just celebrate that you're making a step further into making your life better? How about that? And everybody can just, nobody has to get tattoos.
And then Mike will just get fate tattooed on his neck.
I want to get it untattooed off my neck. I would love to get fate. What's so funny is I just started a UFC 5 profile, and I put all the tattoos on me that I have on the guy. Like it's a cross, but it's not like a terrible cross. And then I got one of a skull, but it's not like a terrible skull. And then I got my last name, but it's not terrible. The wolf, they didn't have a wolf, but I got a tiger. But sometimes people say the wolf looks like a tiger. So that worked out. And then I put fate on his neck. Honestly, I forget that it's there.
The neck tattoo?
And it's honestly a lot funnier if you read it as Fat E. I love that. Fat E. I'm like, what does that say? Fat E.
Fate.
Yeah.
Fate.
This one person, they was like, what's the story with your tattoos? Because they had a bunch of tattoos, and I understood what was about to happen.
Yeah.
Listen, it's cool to have tattoos. I don't give a fuck about the stories behind your tattoos. I don't.
Well, some people have a ton of meaning, and that's cool. More power to them. Mine are heritage based, and this one was more so just a cool idea.
Well,
and I was just
they can't not talk about it. So he's getting into them,
but no, I don't have to it's not well, this shark represents freedom, and people really do get into each little tiny detail of the tattoo. I just wanted cool art.
But then they want to tell people about it, and we don't care. Okay, we don't care.
Yeah.
But that's obviously what he was baiting for. He was like, what does your tattoo mean? And I was like, oh, it's just, bad mistakes. Fucking regret. That's what 17. It means. Yeah, I was 17 and I was drunk, and my brother looked at me and he was like, you know what a cool word is? Fate. And I was just fucked up.
I mean, he did a pretty decent job for fucking not having any tattoo training.
No, this one was not my brother, though.
Oh, okay.
That one was not my brother. That was a
prison tattoo artist?
That was the Jonathan guy, which we've not gotten through the whole arc with him. That was a year-long thing, and it was crazy. And that's why he led my brother down the bad road that he's on now. Fuck that guy. I want to talk about him so much. I'll get into a little bit of, I'll give a little bit of backstory. So we lived in this neighborhood, and everything was kind of going well for a bunch of fuck ups. Me and my brothers who have never known how to navigate life, things were going all right. So we had these neighbors. There was this girl who, she was older. She slept with everybody. She was that, type of girl. And then she had a sister who also did the same thing. But they had a brother. And people would talk about this guy he was just the head honcho mafia member. They would talk. That's how they talked about him. So I remember one day, I had went to sleep at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I just get up and I go outside, and they're talking to this just tall, skinny dude who has tattoos all over his face and arms and legs and shit. And his name's Jonathan. And this is the guy. He's been in and out of prison. People are like, bro is a crazy fighter, and if he can't beat you up, he'll stab you and shit like that. And I had just got done. I had just stopped training, so which I wasn't the type of person that'd be like, oh, let me cock walk out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get up, and they had told him about me, which is the corniest thing ever. Don't do that. That's when they were like, oh, Mikey's a badass. That's the corniest thing ever. So I get out there, and it was he was like, oh, so this is the bad motherfucker you guys told me about. And I'm my hair's all fucking crazy. I'm trying to light a cigarette. I'm I just woke up, brother. I don't know what's going on out here. At first he seemed pretty tolerable, and things were going well. So he does tattoos. Some of these tattoos are from him. Some of these are from my brother. So he does tattoos. Well, he had a friend come over because he was going to tattoo him. Or no, he was tattooing me. And I think, so that's brother, that's him, that's brother, that's him. I'm pretty sure that, and then that's him. So 2 are brother, 3 are him. So he's doing this. He brings a friend over, and this dude's name is like Shane or some shit. I forget the dude's name, but he is like, he looks like a Monster Energy can. Like if you could just like fucking, if you put every single stereotype of someone who drinks Monster, it's this guy. Like he has a backwards flat hat fitted that's Fox and shit like that. And he's got like a fucking shell necklace on and an Abercrombie and just like, dude, you know, I just hated the fucking guy. So I'm sitting there getting the tattoo and he is talking to Turtle. Now Turtle, her mom, their mom killed herself. They don't know if she like actually committed suicide or was murdered. And that was a thing that was going on. And so he was talking about it and he was like, bro, why don't you just admit that like your mom killed herself, bro? Like she didn't want to have you kids. Like, and he doesn't know them guys. Yeah. And everybody's like, what the fuck, bro? Like just stop fucking talking about it.
This is Monster Can guy? Or?
Yeah, this is Monster Can guy. So I tell him, I'm like, hey man, like, how about stop talking about that? That's a weird fucking subject to bring up. And he's like, I fucking talk about whatever I please. And I was like, as soon as this tattoo gets done, I'm gonna show you why that's that's an incorrect way to look at life.
Yeah.
So he goes out, they get done with the tattoo. So I'm going up, and as I'm coming up, he is in his truck. So I'm like walking up to the truck. I get up to the truck and I'm just like, Bob, see, the things we say have consequences. And I start punching him through the truck. He like takes off. So I'm on the side of the truck for maybe like 10 feet. And then I like jump off because I'm like, I'm not going to like full acceleration be riding on the side of a truck. But everybody was like, bro, that was all the fucking, you just started beating his ass through the side of the truck. So he tells Jonathan, and Jonathan's like, I just feel like I have to have this conversation with you, Dad. It's not okay to I'm like, no, people can't. You can't. I don't give a fuck. There's no hierarchy when it comes to, we live in a trailer park, bro. This is not, this is the most stakes place.
There's people you can punch.
Yeah, yeah. He's like trying to tell me who I can and cannot fuck with. And I'm like, this is, so it starts an argument. We're not fighting. Like it's like a not at that moment where we're going to fight. So then my brother is trying to rent this trailer. Well, he wants to steal the air conditioning unit off of it. And he was like, they'll just put it back. And my brother's in the process of doing it. He was like, yeah, we don't know how long that's going to fucking take. Like, I don't want to do it. So he goes up to my other brother. And listen, this is just how corny Jay is to fucking fuck with this guy. But he was like, there's things like I can and can't allow. And I just feel like your brother is one of those people like, it's not good for us to fuck with. That's my brother, bro. Like, what are you trying? Like I said, he's like trying to treat this as like a mafia thing, and it's not a mafia thing. So I come in because he's talking about he needs to teach my brother a lesson. So I immediately walk to the house. I have heard all this. I have no other backstory. I immediately just walk to the house. I'm like, hey man, you ain't teaching my brother shit, because I'm already mad. Like, you know how you think you're going to walk into a situation, you're going to be calm about it, and you're going to like explain to somebody about why. Yes, we're going to be civil about this. The civil had lost because I was just getting more mad. So I walk in there, and he said, he stands up and he's like, listen, man, I don't care who you are. If you cross this line. Okay. So I immediately walk up and he goes to swing at me and he does the goofiest fucking punch. And I actually saw him a couple nights before sneak a guy. That's what he's really known for, sneaking people. Like, and
when
then
they're not paying attention.
Yeah. And then if like they fall down, then he'll like finish. But if they don't fall down, he'll just like kind of back up and be like, yeah, it's the corniest shit. But he throws punches so fucking wide and he's like right on me that I just grab him and I hip toss him right there and I get him in full mount. And I'm like, look, bro, I could just like fuck you up right now. He has a friend, Fabio, real guy's name, Fabio. Dates this real fat girl named Candy. Listen, trailer park. But I have him in full mount. No one's getting punched or anything. Like, yeah, he's like cussing at me and shit like that. I'm just like, I could fuck you up right now. My brother comes and like puts me in a fucking chokehold to try to break up the fight. Nobody's holding this guy. So he gets up and proceeds to try to stomp me in my fucking face. And in a turn of events, listen, it's like, it felt like wrestling that day, because then Fabio like grabs him and it's like, no, man, we don't need to be fighting. And I'm like, God, thank God Fabio has the fucking integrity, wherewithal to fucking stop this shit. So this is actually, I told the story about Wingman on the other one and how this is like the first time I ever even seen this guy. erroneously thought he had something to do, but he was from a different part. He had just grown up in the neighborhood too, so he had knew Jonathan. So it gets broken up. And I remember I'm walking up in, because we lived in the house that was in front of the trailer park. So then I'm walking up to the trailer park. Everything's been broken up. I actually didn't get stomped out. So I'm talking, like his mom comes out and it's like cussing me. And I'm like, listen, like he was like saying he was going to beat up my brother. And I hear John, no. And I turn around and I mean, I just get fucking popped. Like this is the absolute hardest I feel like I've, because bro, like took off full force. Once again, I'm not expecting a motherfucking thing. The best thing that was though, kinda, was that he hit me right here. So while I get rocked, I'm not like knocked out.
Yeah.
I do fall backwards. So he tries to like follow up, and I have enough training. Like I've done a plethora of shit, mostly judo. So I'm built for like the stand up grappling. I'm able to get him back down. This time he is kind of like on all fours, and I'm just like trying to fucking end the situation / not end it. So I'm hitting him in the back of the head, and I have enough like thought process to be like, this is making our hands hurt, and I don't think it's doing anything to him. I think the best thing we could do was like stand up and kind of like stomp him on the back of the neck a couple times, because I'm just trying to like be like, if he gets back up, I'm on deer legs. I don't want him to be able to get back up and fight me, because obviously my brother doesn't have my goddamn back.
Yeah.
So I stand up, I stomp him one time, and then that's when everybody comes over, Brian and all them, they break up the fight. So I'm like getting my shit back together, trying to fucking think about what just happened. And I remember this other guy, which he has like long hair and a beard. I've never seen him ever again before. But if you think about like Tony, like he looked like Tony, talked like Tony. He was like, man, I'm gonna tell you what, boy, that motherfucker, he punched the goddamn shit out of you. He was like, but as soon as he punched you, he was like, that little motherfucker stood up, slammed that boy, and started whipping his ass. I was just like trying to get my shit back. I was like, I don't even know what the fuck is going on, bro. So I'm standing there. Everything gets broke up. Everything's quiet. So I'm going over to my friend Brandon's house. Brandon lives here. John lives right here. So I go up there, and someone says, you know, he wants to make peace with me. So I walk out thinking like, okay, everything's over. Everybody's coming to their senses. Obviously, you know, two friends fight. They get over it, whatever. He was not over it, okay? So I go into his yard. He's like, oh, you're in my yard now? So he runs in, grabs a kitchen knife.
Jesus.
Comes back out with the kitchen knife. Now, like his head from right here was like all knotted up and shit like that. Other than that, like if he was like, yeah, I want to fight against this guy, people would believe you, all right? He runs up. I hip toss him again, except for this time his leg smacks into the trailer and it breaks his ankle. So he hits the trailer. I'm like, you know, I'm still in fight mode because now Brian's over. He's breaking up the fight. Like I said, first time I ever fucking met this guy. And I'm like, bro, why you grabbing me? This motherfucker has a knife. Like, don't fucking hold me. He's like, bro, can't get up. Like, he points out. He's like, and John's like sitting there like trying to like put pressure on his leg, and it's like flopping. And I was like, ew. After he came back from the hospital, we actually did make up for a while, like 6 months. And he was like, you know, that guy, don't fuck with that. Like, he's one of our guys. And I'm just like, I'm nobody's guy. I don't partake in this fantasy. Once again, we're talking about my brother, who is now in a motorcycle gang with people who don't have motorcycles.
Is that part of it?
I hate it so much, man. And like,
is that part of the, like, is that,
no, he's not. He's back in prison. Oh. Like, this dude is like seriously like, he just cannot not stay out of prison. Also, he's like one of those people, like, I guarantee you, if I didn't know how to fight, I didn't know how to defend myself, I would have got stabbed like multiple times with that knife. And if nobody stopped him, probably would have got murdered in his yard. Like, he's that type of guy.
He just takes advantage of people. And
he does. He's a super, like, if you show any signs of weakness, he'll take advantage of you. He will fucking, and I'll just tell the end story about him. There's thousands of stories with this motherfucker. Seriously, some of the just goofiest shit that I've ever seen, which is, I met this one guy, which is crazy. I saw this dude get stabbed in the back, fucking roar. It split his back. It still beat the fuck out of that. That's one guy. I was like, I would never, ever fuck with that guy ever. But the end story, this is the last time I seen him outside of, I saw him walking out of a Walmart one time, and he looked like he was enjoying crack or meth or something. Cause he was that's the guy I did bath salt with, where I was like, man, I really like this stuff. And then he came over the next day and his head was shaved and he was all pale and shit. And he was like, yeah, man. And he wanted to go steal some from a gas station. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore because I see what it does to people.
Looks like some poor life choices are.
Yeah. It looks like it gets you into some bad situations. But it's on the house on Amherst, the little duplex where I fought Dusty at. So we go. I just got out of jail. I just spent the time in jail for my brother. And I had just got out. So he had been a problem since I had been out, really bullying people. I find out that 2 days before, he had punched my sister's boyfriend. My sister's boyfriend is dumb. He is not a fuck you over type of person. He's a chill to himself type of person. So what had happened is he did not want to go out and steal shit out of people's sheds with Jonathan. Cool thing. Here's one thing. Like if we were going to go like take some shit from Walmart, go get a spool of fucking copper. That's from a big business, bro. Yeah. We don't steal from,
they got insurance.
Like we don't take away from fucking people. That's a thing. I've never, if anybody's like, yeah, I'm gonna go steal from this person, I'm like, hey, no, don't do that. And not only, it's not like I'm gonna call the cops on you. It's like I'm gonna beat the shit out of it. That was our justice system back then. Yeah. It was just like, no, man, if you do that, like we'll beat the fuck out of you. So he wanted to go steal shit out of people's sheds, fucking, people working every goddamn day. I'm like, we don't do that type of shit. Scott's a real good dude. Now to this day, since he's gotten away from all that shit, and my brother, he's doing pretty decent, got his life together. One of the only other people to actually, I'll look at and be like, okay, he's doing a good job. So I remember I walk into the house. He had punched Scott. By the way, when he punched me, bro, I had a big goose egg and my eye was bloodshot. Nice. And then a couple of days later, I had to go do because I would do in-home delivery because you have to because you live in a trailer park. So I'd go do in-home delivery with these guys to make a little bit of money. So I'm talking to Justin and he's talking about all the shit that Jonathan has done. And I'm like, listen, okay, look, it's cool if you hate somebody. Either you hate them enough where you don't want them around anymore and I threaten to beat their fucking ass and they don't come around anymore, or you fucking, you deal with this bullshit. There's no half-ass shit. You can't do both, bro. And then he's like, I want this guy gone. So he comes in and I'm like, bro, you can't stay here anymore. Like, you got to get the fuck out. You doing all this shit. And like, he looks at Justin. He's like, you really betraying me, bro? Like, you're really gonna side with this guy? I'm like, I'm his brother. Like, yes, he's gonna side with me, and not the guy who's just like, look, let's steal shit and do all this dumb shit. So finally that was like, we yelled at him and he left. And that was honestly, I thought he was going to be a lot harder to get rid of. I thought he would like try some retaliation bullshit with Jay. He never did any of that stuff. The funniest shit though, here's the funniest shit. So it had always been a rumor that Jonathan had just a tiny penis, bro. Very, very tiny. He would bag a lot of women though, and I don't know what it is about having tattoos. If you would think of like handsome guys, you would put him like and towards the more like, he's not ugly. Yeah. Like you look at a guy, you could be like, that's not an ugly guy. But I was just like, I guess it was because like the women he got, I thought people were just like talking shit about him. Like he's got a small dick. Like they were trying to make themselves feel better. So he had sold Justin a phone and didn't delete a video out of it. And bro, the size of a pinky. And I was just like, I didn't think they made them like that. Yes, literally. And I was just like, they don't have I would roast him every day. And he was cool with it. Like he just did not care.
He didn't care
not care at all, bro.
I mean, I guess you can't do anything.
But he can't do, yeah, that's right. He can't do nothing about it. And he's like, bro, the people that would talk shit aren't getting the bitches that I'm getting. I'm like, listen, you can't argue with that.
I mean, I guess he learned his cunnilingus game. Like,
but I was just like, Jesus Christ, look. He was confident about it, did not let it affect him at all, and the women did not care, so I guess he used it right, but that was a weird part of my life with that motherfucker, man. Like, I look at my life in eras, and there was like a Jonathan era, because it was just fucking multiple years we had to deal with this. Just the dumbest shit, the dumbest, cartooniest fucking problems would arise from this guy.
Yeah, I had different eras in my life, too, and I would say it was after you had already settled down and everything when I turned 20 and was living out on my own down by the community or down by the college UNCG. There was like a fucking whole like 2-year like segment of my life it's a whole different chapter. There's before that and after that, and then
party down at UNCG, bro. You were 20, so I'd have been
what? I was 20 and 21.
20 and 21. 22. And you're how 6 years older than me?
Yeah, I'm 38.
So 21, probably around 15. Yeah, we probably fucking.
You might have came by my house.
Yeah,
I had like 100. No, it was probably close to 200 people in my front yard. Like my front yard was just cigarette butts. Like there was not lawn to my like there. I never mowed except for the backyard. But like the front yard, I never mowed. It was like sand and cigarette butts all the time.
I probably came around one day.
Yeah,
because we were always in the Greensboro area partying with people. All right, so. Finally, we're off that. Jesus. Listen, like I said, I do want to go through the night story arc is the funniest goddamn shit because everybody's like, bro, like this guy's such a badass. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. I never said that I wasn't because in essence, it does make you feel good when people are calling you a badass. But then
you weren't promoting it, but you weren't denying it either.
Like I said, that one guy at that apartment complex, I was like, there's no way that guy the enemy. He was not the enemy, and I was so glad because they were mad at this one dude, and that was not the guy. He was just mad that they had sold some drugs to like his little sister or something, some different people. So he just started whooping up on them, and then he like another one came up and just stabs him full force in the back, and this motherfucker stands up, roars like a fucking warrior yell, grabs the guy by the neck and just like slams his head into his fucking kneecap, not kneed him in the face, brought up his knee, slams the guy's face into his kneecap, throws him on the ground, starts beating the shit out of him. To like, I thought
Did anybody die?
I thought they were both, I don't know if they died, I left. Everything was so goddamn scary. I was like, look, I am not meant for this life.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, this is not my life. But bro, I really thought, like there was some situations I was just like, bro, I don't want to be the bad person here. We went to, look, we're just going to get into the advice. Maybe we'll do a special one day. It'd have to be like a fucking 3-part special. Just the story of night. You can be who's the lady that always interviews people? Barbara something.
Barbara Waba.
Barbara Walters.
Barbara Waba.
There you go, Barbara Waba. All right. Hello, Mike and Dylan. My name is Jimmy Dean. I'm not giving you my real name, but anywho, well, I'm 34. I'm a truck driver. I met a beautiful woman who is way out of my league. I met her in Texas. Now, to be honest, I'm a fat white guy. She is the most beautiful señorita that I have ever seen in my life. Uh-oh.
Latina dump truck.
Yes, yeah, big Latina dump trucks. Delicious. I took my 34-hour reset. It's in Texas. Spent some time with her, and now we're getting closer to the dirty time if you catch my drift, but she wanted to do something with me, and I don't know if I should really go through with it. So here we go. I was on the phone with her, and we were talking to each other, and she said that she wants to dip my dick in Mexican mayonnaise, put corn on it, and sprinkle that red seasoning.
Tahini?
Tahini, yeah, that goes on the elote, and like I eat it on pineapple. It's really fucking good. I love tahini. Seasoning on it and suck it off. And she also said she wants me to dress like Donald Trump. That's the concerning part. Not like politically, but dress up like somebody else. I don't like that. I don't know if I should do that or I should just tell her no. What do I do, fellas? She's freaking hot, way out of my league. Should I just go with it? The tahini part, bro. Let her suck the elote off your dick, bro. Like,
I mean, if she's buying the Trump outfit, like I'll put it on. Like, I mean,
I'll be the grimace for my wife. I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Like, wait, you're gonna put mayonnaise on it and a little bit.
Like,
of
do I gotta do like an accent? Like I know it's not huge. I wish it was huge.
It's the hugest.
Yeah. Oh no, it is the hugest. And if you think you've ever seen a bigger one, you just misremembered. I can't do Donald Trump accent, but yeah, bro. I guess go along with it. Like,
I mean,
beat it down.
Well,
if she's way out of your league, do out of league stuff. Look.
Yeah, you only live once. Like, I mean, go ahead and like.
If she's out of your league, bro, swing for the fences. That's what I say. If she's out of your league, just try to fucking knock it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing with you guys. We want you
the
guys.
food part, that's easy though, man. Yeah. Just let her, like, if she wants some elote dick, give her, that's crazy.
Food has never been fun in the bedroom for me. Like,
yeah, that's
like, I've tried syrups and stuff like that, and like, it's like, this just makes a mess.
I don't think we've ever brought food in, because that's just, I want to eat cake or I want to eat pussy. I don't want to eat cake off of a pussy. Like, I want to either sit down and enjoy this cake or I want to sit down and enjoy pussy. There's never been like I want to enjoy both of them. Never been that moment for me. But guys, listen, this has been it's been an episode.
It is an episode.
Once again, let us know if you want to hear like I said, we could do the night special where we just go through I hate talking about it because I don't want to sound like, literally I had a little bit of mixed martial arts training, and when I'm telling you, that shit goes a long way. If you know how to throw a straight, a jab, if you know how to do like simple like grappling hip tosses, shit like that, and know a little bit about ground control, you can defend yourself in 99% of situations.
Yeah.
It's harder now because everybody else wants to do it, but I was back in the early times, brother. Like when they were filming, like when they were filming the Ultimate Fighter.
When the most that anybody had was karate.
Yeah,
Like,
and then fake karate where they get. So during that time, I was perceived. I did not want to be. I hate fighting. I was always scared to do it. Fucking legs are sitting there shaking while they're like, my friend right here will beat you up, and I'm like, yeah, I will. Please don't want to fight. You know, so if you guys do want to hear about that, let us know. If you have advice that you want us to help you out with, you know, make your life a little bit easier, you can submit that at mikeanddylan.com, mikeanddylan.com. We also have the subreddit, Mike and Dylan Hate Drama. Listen, post some stuff there. We have done posts. We have done stories about posts. Also, shout out today's sponsor, Labor Llama. If you are a hard-working, blue-collar person and you need some fucking quality-ass clothes, Labor Llama has you covered. That is mine and Dylan's. I almost said that is Mike and Dylan's. That is mine and Dylan's blue-collar company. We oversee the complete operation of that. We are actually in the facility where we pack and ship it to you guys. If you want great clothing, we have
we're running a special.
Running a special
off MADHD 30.
The promotional code is MADHD 30. You get 30% off of anything in the store that is just
Hats,
for
shirts, sweats, hoodies, all of it.
You name it. Greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes. And listen, guys, we'll see you next time.
Later.